Hi everyone, I am going to do this page here as part of a new series from Rita Berman's Lande book, and we have 5 different snails. I really enjoyed doing this one. I did it quite a long time ago. I think I used Prisma colour pencils for that, and I thought I would do this one. Now I've actually got my Staedtler pencils out because they're quite small designs, so I thought it would be easier with a smaller pencil, one that can sharpen to a nice fine point. So let's come in for our first snail. Here he is. Excuse me. So we have a snail, we have some leaves, house toadstools, really pretty little character, so that's fun. I've got my pencils actually open on the greys, so I think we might start with a snail. I'm just opening my piece of paper that's got my names of my pencils on it, so I'm actually going to start with the warm grey, which is number 85. I thought I'd found it, but I haven't. Here it is. Yeah, number 85. Now, this is the Staedtler Design Journey pencils. You can use any Staedtler pencils and the numbers will work, but I just happen to be using my Design Journey one here. I might mix it up a bit and use different Staedtler pencils. They're all mixed up in my pencil case. All my Staedtlers are together in one place. So I might mix it up a bit. If I want a slightly less vibrant colour, for example, I might use a Super Soft or a even a Norris. And if I want something a bit more vibrant, I might use an Ergo Soft. And we're just going around the edge of our little friend at the moment. I do find snails quite odd to colour because I always feel like they've got no eyes, because their eyes are here on the end of the stalk, and it always is slightly disconcerting. So what I'm going to try and do is just fade the colour in towards the middle a little bit, so our snail isn't all the same colour. So this bit, try and make a bit lighter, and you can just adjust that by going over parts of it. I'm going to go over the eye a bit more. There we go. And I also want to make that look a little bit more even. So I just try and make it more gentle, the change in colour. There we go. Okay, I'm going to keep this pencil in my hand and use it for the stalk of the mushroom, I think, just to sort of tie it together a little bit. I quite like using the same pencils across different parts of the picture, just to, you know, balance it almost. So I'm going to make this one lighter in the middle too. So I'm just going to build up some more colour on the edges. I just realised my light isn't on. It might not make a big difference to you because my camera will actually adjust for the change in light, but for me it helps me see what I'm doing. It's always good. So there we go. So there are 5 snails on this page in case you didn't properly see. So this will be a 5-part series. I'm just wondering about this bit here. I think this is a part of the snail as well. We'll do it in a slightly different colour. I'm going to look, I was thinking about the, this is really the only browny grey we've got. We've got a grey, number 8. I think that's a bit too bluey. Let's go lighter. I think that'll work. This is number 83. This is the, no, I think we need to go for the cool grey. That's what we do. We need the cool grey, which is number 800. Oops. And it is a lot paler. So I'm just going to sort of layer it on really. Slap it on. See what happens. I'm just going to layer it up a bit because it's, as I said, pale. There we go. And then the little bit in here between the leaves, and then this bit. There, that's it. It's quite pale, isn't it? You almost think, is it even worth having that colour? It's so pale, but I guess on a dark paper it would show up more. But I'm just putting it on here as well in the same way that I said I wanted to repeat colours, but I'm layering it up a lot more here so you can really see it, hopefully. I might go over that bit in a darker. I think I will. I think I'll go back over it in the warm grey that we used before, the 85, but because it's down there already, it's going to block out some of that grey, so it will be a little bit duller, less vibrant, which I think will work. And it'll just look like we've got different parts of the same snail, which of course we have. And the areas where the light grey is thicker, it'll be harder to get the colour down. Oh, we did that bit in there too, didn't we? Yeah, I think that's a bit better. Although it's still nice and pale, we can see there's some colour there. Okay. My next move is the leaf under here. Now I'm thinking to myself, what colour of green matches grey? Not really sure. It's browny grey, so could we get away with an olive? Actually, I'm just looking, I've got this colour, real browny green. This is number 19 and it is our dark ochre. I think I might start our leaf with this. I think it sort of ties in with the brown. I'm going to do something a little bit different with those other leaves, but I think that works. I'm going to fade it up to the tip, and then we'll put another colour on the end to make it look a bit more green. Thinking, well, what she wanted it brown, now she wants it green. Make up your mind. Yeah. I was just when I was editing my last video, I was having a quick look at Rightmove, which is a UK website that has houses for sale. I'm going to use this one. This is number 57, which is the olive green, and I always like to look and see what's for sale near here, because just for nosiness really, because you can see what they look like, the houses look like inside. So you've walked past this house every day for however long it might be, and suddenly you get the opportunity to see what it's like inside. I'm just nosy. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. So anyway, the house that was for sale was this. I thought it was 3 apartments, but actually it turns out it's a house and a granny flat, as they call it, you know, an annex. Excuse me. I'm going to use this one, 55. 55 is the green earth, and I'm going to use it for the ends of these. And so I know it's got sort of very ornate windows. It's actually a listed building, which means it's you can't make significant changes to the design because it's being protected because of it. So it's got very ornate windows. I notice in the which you can't, some of the ones you can't see from the road are actually stained glass, and it's just such a fascinating looking house. And so I found out that it has 11 bedrooms. This is number 56, which is our light olive from the listing. It's got 2 kitchens as well, because you know, one is an annex, so it's got to have cooking facilities, and quite a few reception rooms. But yeah, it was fascinating having a look at it. It really was. It didn't say it was in need of modernisation, but I felt it was. I mean, obviously with a listed building it's tricky, but really there was like, it was just, yes, it needed a lot doing, let's just say that. Okay, well that's begun to brighten it up a little bit, hasn't it? I'm looking at the shell thinking, you know, we've got a house and it's partly shell. All of them are like this, and I usually would do a shell in a brown or a coral, but I'm thinking we'll do it a little bit brighter to make it look more inviting. Let's do the toadstools, mushrooms, whatever they are first. This one at the back, I think I'm going to grab a red. Let's get some brightness into this picture. This is number 2, it's called red, it's actually quite orangey, but that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to try and put quite an intense amount on the edge, and a bit less towards the middle of our mushroom. Like this. And then it gives it a bit of shape, I think. Oh, my stomach is rumbling, I've just had my tea. Had spaghetti, it's lovely, I do love spaghetti. Excuse me, I'm going to grab an orange, this is number 4, it's just called orange. And I'm just going to do a little bit in the middle with the orange, just so that we don't have lots of paper showing through, but we have a lighter area in the centre. That's what how I wanted it to look. Now we have the spots, could leave them as they are, with the white. I'm quite into the idea of, I'm just going to erase the one of them, I've gone over it a bit with the red. I'm just going to try and erase it a bit. I quite like the idea of trying to make the spots just a little bit grey with the pale grey that we used, number 800, the cool grey. So I'm going to just fill that in on these. It's really very pale, isn't it? But if I put down enough layers, you can just see it's there. I think you can anyway. Now, this one looks more fun. We've got quite a lot of different details going on. I think I'm going to do it in a more of a sienna-y type colour. I think I'm going to do the spots in a darker brown. I'm grabbing the tobacco brown, which is number 77, and I'm going to do the spots and things. I'm not going to layer it up too much. I don't need it to be, I want to be able to see the difference between the brown and the black. I just thought I would do it a little bit differently, so instead of having lighter spots, which we've got on that one, we have darker ones. I'm going to do all the markings the same. There we go. And this bit, I'm going to make it a little darker on the edge and less towards the middle. This is quite a good greyish brown. It's not grey by any means, but it's certainly not rich and warm. But for the top we are going to do a warm brown. We're going to do number 72, which is the dark sand, which is a lovely vibrant colour. Then layer it up a little bit on the edge. And then reduce it towards the middle. I don't normally record in the evening, but I am trying to get a little bit ahead so that I can have a week off. And my husband's having a week off, you see, so we can do things together. It'd be really nice. And also tomorrow I've got some electricians coming first thing in the morning, so I need to I won't be able to have the early start that I usually do with recording. Obviously I need to be around for them, make them cups of tea and things. I'm just going to layer this up at the edges, and my electricity meter is on the front of my house, and it has a sort of cupboard surrounding it. I think it's quite common to have this sort of thing if your meter's on the outside of your house in the UK. And the door of the meter cupboard is broken, it doesn't properly seal. I get a lot of a draft coming through it. There's only one skin of bricks on that particular part of the front of the house. It's really cold anyway, and then with that door not sealing properly, it makes it really chilly. So I thought it also looks scruffy, so I thought it'd be a nice excuse to have it replaced. Gone over the line quite a bit here on this flower. Okay, now the windows of our houses, well, we've got the window in the door, there's sort of a window in the door as well. I want them to look really warm and inviting, so I'm thinking that this number 16 is a nice one. This is the golden ochre. It's really bright and warm, and it's a nice sort of slightly more browny yellow, which goes with all these earthy colours that we've used. We may not use an earthy colour for, and I'm going to do the flower centres the same for all of our pictures. We might mix it up quite a bit, I think. I'm just noticing our little cheeks, and I'm thinking if I use number 2, which is the red we used for that, I had been thinking about doing them in pink, but I don't think we're going to use any pinks because we've got this sort of, as I say, earthy colour scheme going on. I think I might use this colour for the shell. This is 49, it's called Fawn. And what I'm going to do is actually just colour all over the whole of the shell with it. Just a layer, just to get us going. And then we can think about what we're doing. Would you like to live in this house? What sort of house do you have? I'm very lucky to live in a mid-terraced house. They're quite modern. Well, I say modern because I'm old. They're 1980s. My boys would say they're ancient. So we don't have we have no period features or anything special like that. It means we've got nothing to sort of have to worry about preserving, as it were. We just can do what we like with our house, and we own it, which is really good. And we've paid our mortgage off, so we're so grateful for that. Now I'm going to make some areas a little bit darker. I think I'm actually going to make the whole of the edge a bit darker first to give it a bit of shape, and then maybe we'll do some other areas in a slightly darker colour, I think. Yeah, so we're in a mid-terrace, so it means that we haven't got an accessible garden from the front, so you have to go through the house to get to the garden. We don't use the garden a lot, but it can be a bit annoying if you want things. I had some gravel delivered, I had to carry it all the way through the house, which was a challenge to say the least. Now I'm going to use number 73, which is the burnt sienna, and I'm going to do a few details on here. So this bit here, I'm going to just make it darker on the edge and a bit lighter in the middle, and on these I'm going to just fade it down a bit, and I'm going to do the same here. So I'm just putting a little layer on top, I'm trying to fade it towards the tip. It's quite small, it's a bit tricky. So yeah, we've got a little bit of a back garden, but not much, and we're overlooked by a terrace of houses over the back. Sounds like we're in back-to-back houses, but not really. It's very, very nice area. We're very, very lucky. Gonna put a bit of a shadow under there. Being between a river and a canal, it's nice. I mean, the place we live is an industrial, it was always an industrial area. The street that we live in used to be full of mills, and they used to weave and dye wool. And actually there were fears that the land here was quite contaminated because all the dye vats are all under the ground here. I'm going to use this colour from the front of the house, but actually because someone was trying to sell a house, they did an environmental survey and it was actually okay, so that's okay. I mean, if it's under the ground anyway, I don't really see a big problem. I suppose if you're growing vegetables and things, but not many of us do much in our gardens around here. We they're quite small. I think if you wanted to do something with a garden, you'd have bought a house with a bigger garden. You know what I mean? So under here I'm going to put an extra layer to make it look like we've got a little bit of shadow under this sort of roofy eaves of this roof bit. It's very cute, isn't it? Oops. And I think we'll go around this little bit as well. Like that. There we go. I'm going to do this little bit in the light colour that we used. So, no, I'll find it in a minute. It was this one, wasn't it? 49, the fawn. So we used the fawn here. It makes it look a bit more interesting, I think, with all the different colours. Again, we need a bit of shadow under this eaves part. I think I'm actually going to use number 73 for the shadow under here, just because it shows up a little bit more. Now, the actual roof, I'm going to go back to the greys that we've been using. This is the 85 again, which was the warm grey, and we'll do this. I think repeating the colours is working well. So I'm going to try and just make it a little bit lighter on the top of the roof. There we go, a bit darker there. And same on this one. There we go. Now our chimney. Do we do it this colour? I think so. I'm sort of thinking I want it to be this colour. Like that. There we go. Now we've got the flowers, and I'm thinking let's do them in this. Or should we do them in orange? Let's do the flowers in the orange. We used a little bit of the orange. Do you remember? Number 4 for at the centre of here. Let's do our flowers in this colour too. So I'm going to try and make the petals just a little bit darker near the centre, just over colouring it a little bit. And the same on this one. I think we keep them both the same, you don't have to, but I like that consistency. If it was my house I would want them the same. But I've never seen such an ornate snail house. Well, maybe apart from the one, actually the one on the facing page, there's several houses on the one snail. Seems a bit unfair, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm going to do the front door in this number 2, the red. I like the idea of a red front door. My front door is creamy white. It's very dull, but all the doors are the same in our street. Right, the fence, I'm going to use the brown, the tobacco brown. I seem to be getting very wonky. Okay. And we have the little veranda bit to do as well. I'm wondering whether to do it this colour. Whoops, the 72, the dark sand, just because we haven't used this yet. Or is that part of the snail? I'm going to do it as a veranda, as a sort of, like a path. But maybe if you think it's part of the snail, you might want to do it in the greys. But I'm just thinking path. There we go. I'm doing a little bit darker near the house where there'd be some shade. Now we've also got these couple of leaves here and here I'm just thinking about those, whether to do them now or later. We'll do them. We'll do them now because I've got some nice colours out that I can use. So I'm going to start by putting a layer of 56 across all of them. They look the same, so I'm going to colour them the same. So 56 being the light olive, excuse me. I'm trying to figure out if that is a gap. If it is, what's that? I'm just going to colour over it. I think it is a gap. It's one of those, isn't it? But I still don't know what that is. I'm going to try and get a decent layer of this one down. It's a very pretty yellowy olive. I like it. And then we can put in some other colours on top to give it some shape, hopefully, if all goes to plan. Now I haven't thought at all far yet as to whether I'm going to do a background here or not, or whether I'm just going to leave it. I will decide that when I'm done, or at least when I've done more than one of our snails. And the background on the facing page worked really well. I think it's actually done with pencil, not pastel. It's done with Prism because I used Prismus. I think it's Prismus. I was able to do a background fairly easily because they're nice and soft. I wouldn't ever. I have done backgrounds with these before. It's very hard. Let's just erase that bit. There. Yeah, these are two. This is 57. These are pretty much too hard to do backgrounds with, really, because they're just hard to get nice and smooth if you're using them in a large area. It's like trying to do a colour something with a fine liner or something, you know, if it's a big area. It's really quite tricky to get it even and neat. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going along the edge of each of these sort of veins in the leaf and adding some of this green to them. I didn't finish telling you about this house, so it was quite interesting. There were like inglenook fireplaces and some nice staircase, wooden, obviously, well, I say obviously, not all stairs are wooden, a wooden staircase, but it wasn't carpeted, but it was nicely varnished. The ground floor was all slabs on the ground, which looked a bit cold to me. There was no central heating. I guess you wouldn't expect it in an old house. And there wasn't a fitted kitchen, there were just a few bits and pieces. It wasn't really a utility room or anything like that. And we're going to use number 55 next, the green earth. And yes, it was over £1 million, 11 bedrooms, so I guess you get a lot for your money. In fact, it was £1,100,000, and I remember my brother-in-law saying to me once that you get about £100,000 per bedroom. And I didn't know how right that was, but it seems to be in that case just spot on. 11 bedrooms, £11,000. Sorry, £1,100. I'll take two. But my sister's looking at houses at the moment, so I'm having a little look because she is thinking about moving, but she's not 100% convinced. Now, I think these look like they need lifting a little bit. I'm going to not use I want a yellow, but it's not, the shades aren't quite right for me. I'm going to use the number 12, which is the lemon. I think that's going to just work. I'm going to use it over the whole thing to just lift, brighten, warm, all those things. And I hope that, yeah, that is You can see the difference, yeah? I'm really happy with that. What a difference that makes. And it's not too tricky, just a layer of yellow. I can't see the time, just going to turn my clock round. That's okay. I was just checking out whether my husband should have phoned yet, and because he finished work. My boys are going to grab the phone if it rings, but no, it's a bit early yet. It's 6:05. He didn't leave home for quite until it was after 9:30. So there we go. Now there is our first little snail, and yeah, we'll do another one next time. I'm not sure whether there'll be a break in the videos for a planner page or whatever, but it will be, a fairly ongoing series. But for today, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a super day and happy colouring.